Rick,
Meghan.
it's Tuesday and we are here for the people to teach them some things. And we have a great topic today. It's one that's making all of us scratch our heads. And that is, why hasn't the real estate market imploded? We have unbelievable things happening with interest rates. In the period of just a few months, rates have literally doubled. And yet I closed 7 escrows recently and opened one yesterday. And I just talked to 2 people that are writing offers. People are still buying and selling houses. Let's talk about why.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? And I read all these reports. In fact, I got one this morning talking about the housing market. I get this all the time. And, people are saying, well, housing values are going down. Well, my report is up to the 3rd quarter of this year, which is very recent, that housing prices, this is nationwide, by the way, year over year went up 13.9%. So that's not as high as it was maybe 2 years ago, but still really, really healthy no matter what the market is. But look, as high as those rates have gone in the last 6 months, we're still at a 13.9% increase in housing values. But also in that same report, talked about rents. There's the other news. Rents in the same period of time are up 11%. So renting is not a safe haven. It's just not.
So let's break down the 13% year over year housing increase in value. So I want to make sure that people know that we're not here to dupe you or drag you over the coals here. But what you have to understand is that if the 13% of increase came, it may have come by March. It may have come by March. I don't know when we hit the 13%, but obviously with a higher interest rate, these numbers are going to fall flat. Things are not decreasing, but they're not increasing. Things are flattening out, but it doesn't, we still, even in this time, we still haven't taken away 13% of year over year gains. Does that sound like a fair analogy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we can both agree, we've been doing this a very long time. A healthy market is a 5 or 6% a year increase.
Right.
Even though these rates have gone from, let's say, rough numbers, 3% in January to say roughly around 7% today, the year over year, those housing values are still up more than 13%.
Right.
Just the market.
Exactly.
So,
so even, like you said, even if you're renting, rents are still going up. We recently put a place up for rent, because, Tim and I have been buying anything we can buy since, we were just brand new in real estate in our 20s. And I love real estate. I think it's an amazing long-term investment. Show me something, we'll buy it if we can. So we've got a couple of properties and we were renting one out a few months ago. Maybe I think it's been 2 months. And it was a 1-bedroom for over $2,000 a month. And I was flooded with super qualified renters, people that were making $5,000-6,000 a month, which is a great income, but it might not be enough to buy around here, but it's certainly enough to rent. So I don't see the rent values going down either. Things will probably flatten out as the economy is going through the change, but I still am not, I'm shocked. I really thought, oh my gosh, buckle up your seatbelt, but things are still chugging along here.
Yeah, they are, and I think they will, as we've talked many times before. And the thing about being a homeowner is that homeowners overall are just happier people. They just love being a homeowner. And so people say to me, well, should I wait? Should I wait? Well, the answer is always very clear to me, is that time is not their friend. Because, as we all know by this report this morning, that rents are not going down, they're going up. At least when you buy a house, you're locking in that payment forever. No matter what that rate is, you're locking that payment forever. You're not going to have to worry about an increase in your payment on the mortgage, or someone telling you have to move out of your house and move somewhere else on short notice, right? And then we also know that every buyer who's buying a house right now, we'll have an opportunity sometime around this time next year to look at lowering that payment substantially. And guess what? If you're renting a house, you never can lower that rent payment. It's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is, should you wait? Well, you can at your own risk, right? See, so
I
it's-
mean, you can't save unless you are in a job position that you can save between 5 and 13% a year of the house that you're planning on buying. I mean, this is like futile. Find something that meets your needs, that you can comfortably make a payment on, and buy it.
right. That's the best.
That's my advice.
Simple, super simple.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Yeah. And it's like, if it doesn't make sense, let's review situations where it doesn't make sense for people to buy. Okay. Let me think here. I know this is just we've never discussed this before, but situations where it doesn't make sense for people to buy. If you're having to pool your money together with someone that you're not exactly sure what your commitment to them is, that might be not a good reason to buy with somebody. It might be a little tumultuous. What do you think is a good situation for somebody not to buy?
If they haven't got enough money for the down payment or closing costs, you have to kind of wait till they can save some more money, right? I think, or sometimes they have too many debts and they're trying to pay some things down. And it's just too much going on there. Those might be good reasons not to buy at the moment. Or maybe they might be in flux with a job of some sort,
Mhm.
Can't be the best time.
Yeah.
either.
Too many debts. That's a huge one because, their debt to income ratio is a huge factor in being qualified to buy a house. So you gotta, make sure that you aren't spending more than, 10% monthly of your income on credit card debt, something like that.
Yeah, as a general rule, keep your credit card debts low. I mean, I see a lot of credit reports and I feel bad for people because they have literally $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt sometimes at 18, 19, 20% interest. And if they would have just found a way not to do that, they could buy a home at, let's call it 7% and own something.
Right.
So it's hard. I get it. It's really hard. Because it's just costs a lot of money to live sometimes, right?
Right.
But we can just save as much as we can and avoid staying out of debt. And then when you have that debt, keep paying it on time.
So that is the situation where it might not make sense for you to buy right now. If you have too much debt, if you're buying a house with somebody you're not completely sure of, otherwise you should buy something. Just get your money in the market and you can maybe rent it out later or sell it later to create a bigger down payment. Yeah.
Because the reality is there's no perfect house. I talk to home buyers. I want the perfect house. I want the perfect house. Well, you and I both have all of us have borrowers right now that wanted the perfect house 2 years ago and they haven't found it.
Oh man. Yeah. We
And
do have
that's
some of those.
challenging. Again, it's challenging, but again, you just got to get in the house. That's the answer.
Yep, exactly. Well, I appreciate your time today as usual. And hopefully, I was at lunch before this meeting with one of my sweet clients that they wanted to run some things by me. And we said, hey, let's just have lunch and get caught up. And we were talking about the housing market. And I said, in 2018, the rates went up an entire point in 6 months. And I thought it would be the end of the world. And things really did slow down tremendously, even for me, kind of in a first-time home buyer, market mostly around here. I remember I had 3 houses for sale on the same street, and it was a little bit of a challenge. But things, I think, after the pandemic, I was telling my client at lunch today, I said, there were people with little kids that were at home in quarantine for a year, 2 years. They didn't have a yard for their kids to play in. They couldn't leave to see their family. So I just feel like being a homeowner because of the pandemic, just the value of that has really been amplified. That if the stuff ever hits the fan again, at least I'll be in my own house. I won't be caught like that again in someplace where my kids can't play, don't have a yard, there's not enough windows, I don't live near a park, just, I think it's just a quality of life issue,
Not about it, for sure.
All right. All right, Rick. Great advice. Thanks for the stats. And we'll talk again next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. See ya.
Bye.